That might be visible. Is it? No. The sky crane come off Stone Canyon right? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I see him. I know, 139. Is that a Black Hawk? Is that county ship or is that a... Okay. Come on up to 12 o'clock and pick up that sky crane and watch his drop. Right there in the center of your screen. Push in. You can get rid of sky map, I think, for this. It's off to your right. Right there. Leo Bellick. Hold on, hold on. We haven't been able to see it exactly yet, Philip. We're going to go back to that because now we have two structures. I wanted to watch a sky crane drop. They're so impressive. 2,000 gallons. Now, this is the northern edge of the fire that they're hitting right now with this drop, and they can get water off Stone Canyon Reservoir, which is, less than a quarter mile away to the east. So as far as access, push into the sky crane real quick if you would. We should see a pretty impressive drop, and it is pretty incredible, and it's a frontline tool to putting these fires out. And this is something that we did not see in the Phillips fire. We did not see nearly the aerial attack that we're going to see today with both county fire, city fire, and some of the aircraft like this helitanker that is the sky crane that is on contract. I want to go back, though, and just come along the entire stretch and show you that area. It looks like we're starting to get a better view of it, but when we bring up our daytime view, there's Cassiano right to the left side of your screen. Bring up Sky Map, if you would, for a moment, and we want to push right into the address. We understand two homes in there at 1377, so push into 1377, and now we'll come off that, and we'll go to our shot from Air 7 HD, and it will show us exactly where those homes are. And you can see from time to time we get a little bit of a view, but the smoke is obscuring those homes most of the time. But we do understand now it was in the attic of 1377, and now it has spread to another home. And I mentioned that earlier. Once you get a house that takes off and those homes are so close together, that could be a structure right there. I'm not certain, but that flame you saw just coming through the smoke could actually be that structure because it lines up with what we saw on our daytime view. Once that happens, it's really tough to stop that from spreading to the other homes that are close by. So we're hoping that's not the case, but this certainly has the potential to take out a lot of homes on that street on Cassiano. Right now. See if we can find that house. Oh, there you go, push in. Hold on, JJ, please hold on. I'm sorry, Philip, we had somebody talking over you in the booth. Could you say again, please? Yeah, it's really quick. I would imagine from one drop to the next, maybe 5 minutes or even less. It is just a hop, skip, and a jump over the Stone Canyon Reservoir and then right back over. And there is a lot of equipment on this. A sky crane, I've seen a County Fire Skyhawk. We got a couple of 139s, it looks like, from the city. That's the Augusta, the 412s. They're all making drops. I wouldn't be surprised if we have 6 or 7 aircrafts on this fire that's, probably about 100 acres. We keep looking for that home that may be on fire, and as soon as I'm done with this report, I think the booth had some more information for me on that. A lot of times what we'll see through the white smoke is thick black smoke once a home is fully engulfed. So fire crews are there. They're there with structure protection. They got down onto Cassiano very quickly, knowing the fire was heading in that direction. It wouldn't be a surprise if a fire did start in a home. They were able to knock it down before it destroyed that home. It really engulfed it and really caused problems for some of the other homes. But go to the left, Kevin, and push in once again. And what happens is with the smoke, from time to time, we start to see that area push right into those homes there, to the left or right in there, I believe. You can see the smoke moves through. That's the area that we're concerned about. And there's some, that look like black smoke. It's actually a tree. From time to time, we'll get a glimpse of it through the smoke. We haven't really seen it take off, so that is good news. JJ, go ahead. All right. Can you tilt up and check the 405 at the 101 real quick? Push in. 101 to the right. See if it's pushing. I just heard that. I'm double checking it. Come back out to the fire, please. Just loom up right off to our left. Keep going, keep going. Further left, I believe. Right in there. Right there. Sorry. Is that right up to that home? Is that what I'm seeing on SkyMap? Is this accurate as to what we're shooting? Is this the location or not? It's right next to that house then. Oh boy, yeah, thanks. They don't have these fires in New York. one home. All right. Go ahead and tilt up because that's such a crappy shot. Go to the northern edge of the fire. They've been making some drops there. Give me the name of that street up there. What does it say on Sky Map? It's really close to homes, unfortunately. Now, these homes, this is the east of Pulpit Fire Road. That's the Mountain Gate area. Those homes appear to me to be fine because the fire, you can see the wind is blowing it to the south. They want to come down the line. What happens is the picture gets pretty blown out this time of the morning, just the way the sun shines on the smoke. It's difficult to really give you a great picture, so we apologize for that a bit. But it's burning through this canyon, and as we continue to the south, we understand now from multiple reports that one house is fully engulfed, or at least partially on fire, 1377. And now another home next to that is on fire. And it's really interesting if we bring up, if you go to the right just a little bit, Kevin, and then bring up the daytime view if we can, that's right where the home is. It's right on the right side of your screen. That's Cassiano, and at the end of Cassiano are the homes that are in danger right now. You can see Moraga Drive on the bottom there. Those homes right down in that area are also threatened. They have to evacuate immediately. We'll come back out now to the live shot, and it lays down where that is, and it's difficult for us to get low enough to see in underneath the smoke because we interfere with the fire department, but they have a lot of resources on this. They're hitting it very hard. And just a note about the traffic, it looks like, and I was surprised it didn't happen earlier, to be honest with you. When I first got overhead, I said, they're going to shut it down in both directions. It just seems like what they would do as a precaution. And now they're going to do that. So the ripple effect, the PCH through Malibu is going to be a mess. The Ventura Freeway is going to be a nightmare. We've got that closure up on the 210. That puts added pressure on the 134. Now the 5 freeway is going to have to take some of that flow, and you can expect all of the freeways to just have additional hours in some cases, depending on how far your drive is, to get places. It is going to be a struggle. It is going to affect hundreds of thousands of people as far as their commute is concerned. We hope right down in there that we're not losing a home, but we continue to get these reports that at least one, possibly 2 homes are on fire. They definitely are. Yeah, we can't get low enough to see underneath there because we're at an altitude so that we don't interfere with their operation. But they are getting down in there. Now, they have strategies that, I don't always understand, but they are the best strategies, trust me. Right now, they're doing a lot of water drops on the northern edge. Now, I see a sky crane coming into view. We may show you that in just a moment. And that may be going down towards Cassiano Road. But it looks like most of the water drops have been made on the northern edge there. And you wonder why. Well, it's probably because they're worried about that going down the canyon and then back up towards homes on the other side of that ridge, because we know how fast the fire spreads once it's going uphill. Now, that's amazing what that aircraft can do. I mean, it's a phenomenal aircraft. To drop 2,000 gallons, I mean, just do the math, right? I think it's actually 2,500 gallons, which may be around 30,000 pounds. That is incredible, and that can do a lot of damage to the fire. But to answer your question, yes, they are getting the helicopters underneath the smoke and making the drops where they need to. But in some situations, depending on how thick the smoke is, they may not be able to drop right on the house they want to. I mean, that does happen from time to time. Not all of the aircrafts are equipped with the ability to fly 0-0 through the smoke to make a drop. Only the ones with night vision, and I'm not sure exactly how they work that during daylight hours. So there's a lot of issues as far as the drop is concerned. We'll go back to the left and open up because it gives you an idea how big this is. And certainly I think we're approaching at least 100 acres, much more than the 50 acres that were mentioned. But it's that area off to the left on Moraga and Cassiano that gives us most of the concern. We're going to bring up Sky Map 7 and show you that area. There's a daytime view, so you push into that, but there's just Sky Map with the 405. There's our 1037 Cassiano Road, and that's one of the homes that appears to be threatened. It was actually 1077 was the 1377 was the home in question, and that's off to the right. So we'll bring up the daytime view, which is just incredible, the technology. That's the area. So we believe all those people got out. There was plenty of notice to get out, a lot of smoke. The fire department, the police department, they got in here. They told people to leave. But those homes right there, we'll come back out to our Air 7 live shot. Those homes right there, we can't really see them, but they're in jeopardy. And if our reports are accurate, at least one, possibly two, have already been sparked and started on fire. Hold on. Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I believe that's the case, and one of the reasons I believe that's the case is when we see a home fully engulfed, we see thick black smoke, and we're not seeing that come up through the white smoke, which makes me believe more than likely they had a fire start in the attic. The units were there for structure protection. They got on it very quickly, and they saved the home. That would be my guess at this point. That's speculation. It's hard to tell for sure. We're looking through the smoke. But one of the big differences that we have going on, there's two actual huge differences what we have going on right here and what happened in the Thomas Fire. Number one is the Thomas Fire was so big, there were so many exposures. I mean, there were exposures everywhere from Santa Paula, a 14-mile stretch, all the way down to Ventura. So that means resources couldn't be focused into one pinpoint area. And the biggest factor is the winds. The winds for us are just a breeze. I mean, 10, 15 miles an hour out of the north and steady. That's fantastic. It's those swirling winds. It's those gusty winds, all of a sudden up to 40, 50 miles an hour, and winds that change directions. Now, that's a game changer as far as the battle is concerned. So they know which direction this fire is headed. We are right now optimistic, I would say, cautiously, that we have not lost any homes, even though there's been some scanner reports that a couple of homes have started on fire. And the conditions here are somewhat favorable, considering that we have so many resources in this area. Oh. Well, I think they will. I think they will use the super scoopers. They will be able to help a little bit. They're certainly not nearly as effective as the helicopters are. And when the super scooper comes in and makes a drop, they will move the helicopters out. As far as a tanker, I don't believe they're going to bring in a huge tanker and make a phos check drop, which is a retardant drop on this fire. I mean, if it really took off and we really had some growth, say out into the mountains towards the west, possibly. I don't see that on this fire. But to answer your question, I think the super scoopers will be able to have some effect on this fire. And with the fact that the winds have died down, I do believe that they will use them. I heard you, JJ, say that that house was right above the Jewish Center. Do you think we should go to the other side and try and see it from there? We couldn't earlier. Let's go across to the other side real quick. Let's go across to the other side real quick. We want to try and expedite across to the west side and see if we can see anything, and if not, come back. Very good. We'll keep it up. All right. Be careful when you talk to me, because lots of times you're talking to me. If you can, you need Philip's asking me a question. It completely interrupts the IFB, so I can't hear anything, but that's fine. I understand. We'll see what we can see here in just a moment, looking from the west side. Boy, they're taking their time on closing the 405. Still not shut down. Okay, you can see into Cassiano there. Push in. You see it in there? Right in there. Push in. That's it. Okay, that's the, when they come back out to us, hopefully we can hold this. Those are the homes. Bring up the addresses, can you? Okay, great. 1377, that's that one right there. Keep sky map up, there you go. Try and get as steep as you can. Steep as you can to try and get that right there. Get rid of the glare. Yeah, Philip, you know, we are just coming around to the other side, and this appears to be the structure. Let's see, that's 1377. You can see on the bottom of your screen on our sky map, that's Cassiano Road, and that's the home that started in the attic, and now you can see it's going to spread from the attic. Just to the right, would you push in? Is that another home there at 1357? And push right in there if you would, tight. It looks like an outbuilding or another structure of some type, maybe a trailer. That looks like a home to me. And this is what we are really concerned about, because there is structure protection there. You see the water from the firefighters. Go back to the left there if you would. There was another home. That one as at 1377. The roof is starting to be engulfed. A lot of smoke coming off of that roof. That means that entire home is going to go. That would be difficult to save. And then what happens, if you were with us earlier, those hot embers, you know, all that furniture in there, everything you have inside a home, those embers seem to travel, get up underneath the next home's eaves, and then catch that house on fire. It starts in the attic, and it spreads to the home. So, boy, I tell you, from the other side, we couldn't see this. It is sad to see this once again now in the Sepulveda Pass in the Bel-Air area after seeing homes lost up in Ventura. You know, I covered the fire seasons here since 1985. 93 was horrific, 400 homes in Laguna, 268 homes in Malibu. But this is reaching that type of destructive type year, if you will. I mean, we really are seeing just some sad, tragic incidences here with people losing property. Their lives are disrupted. There's a water drop I think we might get right in this area. I think we might have a helicopter coming in. They will drop on the home from time to time. There's the ship right there. That is the Augusta 139. Drops 600 gallons of water, and you can see they can make a pinpoint drop. And you can see it's much easier from this side than from the other side because coming up that slope through the smoke would have made that really tough. Yeah, once a fire breaks through the attic and starts to do that, they'll get off of the roof unless they can ventilate it very quickly. There's too much of this house that's on fire for them to be able to save it. So they're going to go to a defensive stance here. Tilt up a little bit, though. I want to show you something. And you see that street? I mean, it is so difficult to get in here. There's a fire unit there, but you park a van or another couple vans in there, you get somebody who comes up in there and tries to get back to their house, and the fire crews can't get to these areas. And that's why they're telling you, boy, you get out and don't come back in a situation like this because they won't be able to get the resources in here to save the homes, and then it's the domino effect. You lose this house, you start to lose the one next to it because it's so hot, it's so intense. It's much more intense than, say, a medium brush fire. And then you got these big trees next to the home. So right now it looks to me like that home is a total loss. Go down to the right a little bit, Kevin. There was another structure down there, and you might even be able to tell a little better than I, but that looks like a home to me, not an outbuilding, as we push in off of another street. I think that's below Cassiano. That appears to be another house or some type of outbuilding, and you can tell once they start to take off, they spread to the next. There are fire crews there, but there's an access issue. They're not right on top of it. It's a godsend. Once again, I've said this several times, we are so fortunate we do not have 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds because we would lose a lot of houses in here. And that's a given if we have those type of winds today. Absolutely. There's a strategy to that, and it wouldn't surprise me depending on where it could go. I don't know if you saw that for just a moment. Go back to the fire, but we're going to bring that in. It's difficult for our cameraman because he can't see it. But the Super Scooper is here. He just made a low flyby, and I think he's trying to get his bearings. What will happen when the airplanes come in, they'll have to move the helicopters out. You just can't mix the two. But it looks like, I believe I'm hearing the Super Scooper is going to come in and make a drop, and it could be in this area. They're not nearly as effective as far as hitting a pinpoint spot as a helicopter, but they do drop a lot of water. I think it was around 1,600 gallons, if I'm not mistaken, and that can really help. But you're right, Philip. I believe that helicopter came in here and thought that's a lot of fuel. We're not going to drop on the house at this point. We're going to try and take out some of the fuel, but that structure there on the right, the bottom right, Kevin, really seems to be taking off. And you can tell they're trying to get water on it, but it's not all that easy. There are some access issues. That's 1367 on our sky map. It's difficult to tell. We can pull out a little bit and see if that is actually Cassiano. I'm not certain if it is. It's a little below. It is. They're telling me it is Cassiano as well. It's just a little below the main portion of the street. But now we have two homes on fire. Some of the smoke is cleared, and we're really getting an idea just how devastating this blaze is going to be. I'm assuming they are. Let's look around a little bit. I mean, we can do that with you. There's the street, so let's tilt down to the right. I don't know if I saw someone next to that light pole or not. It's just so smoky in here. Really hard to tell. But, I mean, you see those flames on the bottom, and you see that house nestled right next to those flames. You see the fire units. You see a vehicle in front of them. You can see how narrow the streets are. So this is just really difficult. I think when we pull out once again, I don't see anybody walking around, Leslie. It looks like, and I'm sure, This fire is so close that I don't think anybody's going to look at this and say, I'm not leaving. You know, in some areas, there, like I mentioned earlier, there's 4 or 5 streets in and out, and you figure, well, if anything happens, I'll just take off that way. This is not the case. If this jumps around, you could be trapped. I would imagine this area has been evacuated. The police are in here, the fire department's in here, and they're making sure everybody gets out. I think there's another helicopter coming in to make a drop. This is the critical area right now. Should be coming around here in just a moment, and we should see it fly into frame and make a drop. There's the Jewish Center on the bottom. We talked about that earlier. We didn't know exactly what it was. And there's the aircraft making the drop. Stay on the structure, Kevin. Try and keep a shot on the structure if you can. You copy? Kev? Well, go to the structure. Bring the addresses off for a moment. Push in. Push into those homes on fire. Everything's good. Got about an hour of fuel left, a little over. There's a good shot. Yeah, those are residents that are just crazy. Go back to the flame. You see him down there? You see the super scooper coming in? Well, it must have been on the other side. We don't see it on this side. Is that water shooting from there? Wow. Moving us out. Okay. All right. They want us further west and to 8,000, or just... Are they bringing in tankers? Yeah. Stay on that home on fire, Kev. Oh, okay, I got it. No problem, I understand. JJ? Whose camera had the Super Scooper make a drop? I'm assuming that was on the east side. Okay, it wasn't one of ours. Yeah, absolutely. Tilt up a little bit, Kevin, and you can sort of see that when you see the road. That is Cassiano, and there was an area where a couple of fire units came up, and they just couldn't go any further. I think we're going to lose at least a couple of houses with this fire, but it's dangerously close to other ones. There's another interesting aspect. You know, we want to, I'll mention this, but I won't go to it. They have not shut down the 405 southbound yet, and that gives you an idea. They said that about 15, 20 minutes ago. They're going to shut it down, a hard closure. Gives you an idea how difficult it is communication-wise and asset-wise to get something done. They're still working on that. It also gives you an idea that they're taking as many assets as they can, City Fire, from the Creek Fire and getting all their aircrafts here to try and make certain we don't lose any more homes. Now, the smoke is cleared a bit. We can push in a little better. It gives us an idea of what is going on here. That home there, also off of Cassiano Road, that appears to be a total loss. If we tilt up and go to the left, we did have firefighters actually battling that for a few moments. I don't believe they're still inside the home. And if we go to the left a little further to the end of Cassiano, Leslie, you had asked me about residents. Have they all gotten out? I don't know if they're still there, but we had 3 or 4 of them just standing around a moment ago. Looks like they have left, so that is certainly good. But you can tell, if you're there and you haven't left, there's no room to get in your car and leave. You've got to walk out. And, boy, that can get extremely dangerous, treacherous. And someone could be killed if they get trapped in there. We have a lot of resources right now as far as firefighters in the area, but there's always that potential and that possibility. And this fire is really starting to take off. Once the roof goes and once a structure collapses, boy, it just explodes. Once that roof collapses in on itself, we see the fire double or triple in its size, and I believe that's going to happen on both of the structures that we see here. I believe the address is 1377 Cassiano. If we can bring that up on Sky Map where the address is once again, that would be the home in the middle of your screen, and then I believe that one is 1367. So we really feel for those folks. If you're watching, you have to watch your home burn, but hopefully you've got everything out that's really important, especially your pets. Absolutely. They did make a drop. wildfire. We gotta go. Yeah, here we go, I think. Well, we can tell you that it looks like both of those structures are a loss. If you just joined us, they are off of Cassiano, which is just to the east side of the 405, not far from the Jewish Center, right of the 405 freeway and north of Sunset. Now, our picture doesn't look as good as it did earlier. We're really having some access issues. What happened is air attack is up overhead, and usually they work pretty good with us, but they put us to an altitude that is going to interfere with the coast approach, and the approach is coming down into the valley and down in towards Los Angeles International Airport, so it's making it difficult for us to really work. One thing is, I can tell you the super scoopers have come in and made a drop, and I think air attack is up overhead because he's in charge of coordinating that. He's flying an airplane on what would be a third level, the level where the helicopter's down below, the super scooper's getting prepared to come in and drop, and then he's above them coordinating everything, and then we have to stay outside of that to make sure that it's safe and they can do their job. But we can tell you for certain they've lost a couple of homes. I'm looking out the window and you don't see it. The 405 South is still open. I don't know if they changed their mind on the 405 South closure from the 101 to the Santa Monica Freeway, or if they just haven't got that done yet. The Ventura Freeway, I can tell you, is a parking lot. In between the Hollywood Freeway and, say, Calabasas, you don't move, especially on the eastbound side out of Calabasas towards the 405. So PCH will be heavy. The ripple effect is going to be horrific. We'll try and push in the ripple effect onto some of the other freeways, the 5, PCH. It's just going to be a horrible day for travel throughout all of Los Angeles. But that's Cassiano Road there. It's above East Sepulveda Fire Road. That's where the 2 homes are lost, we believe. 2 were on fire. It appeared to be that they were going to be destroyed and complete losses. We're hoping we don't see more of that. The wind has stayed about the same, maybe even calmed down a little bit. A lot of times this time of the morning, we'll see the winds pick up. We haven't seen that, and that is great news. But City Fire is hitting this with everything they have, I believe, as far as the aircrafts are concerned. I think they might have taken everything off of the Creek Fire and moved them down here, as well as a few of the county ships. Feels an hour. Yeah, well, it's the 50 to 70 mile an hour winds that kill you in the helicopter. Trust me, getting rid of 2,000 pounds when you're the pilot, you love that because it's the weight that always kills you. So you know that when you drop the water, you've just got rid of 2,000 pounds. You can reduce power and you're going to climb no matter what the winds are. That's always a fortunate thing. But with the winds and downdrafts, before you drop, you're always concerned because you're very, very heavy and you can't just pull power because you're at your limit sometimes. That's the issue. If something happens, you drop your water even if it's not on the right spot because getting rid of all that weight is the issue. But I can tell you, we have never had this much trouble with air attack. Air attack is overhead, and this guy just sounds like he's completely flustered. He doesn't know how to handle the situation, and so what he's saying is, just get out. We've been pushed all the way up, to Van Nuys, and we've been back to an altitude in an area that really, unfortunately, makes it extremely difficult for us to get in there. What I don't like with what I see right now from this spot as we push in is that thick black smoke, because that's usually an indication that the homes really started to take off. But as I mentioned, it's just the location of this fire with air attack overhead and that space, the airspace above us is where some of the airliners will come down and make their approaches into LAX. And we're just not getting an air attack guy that seems like he's really familiar with doing this and working with us very well. So we've been pushed off, I don't know, now 10 miles to the north at 6,000 feet, which makes it, unfortunately, extremely difficult to show you those homes. But it looked to me like we had more black smoke popping up, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, I think in some respects maybe they are. I mean, we're now 10 miles to the north looking south at 7,000 feet, and we really like to get in there and show you what is happening, so it's extremely frustrating for us. Progress, I guess, a little bit. I want to show you, give you a wide shot of the fire, though, and it looks to me like there's still some pretty dark smoke coming out of that, and we have a larger area that's on fire, so a little progress maybe, but overall this is a huge battle. But let's look at the 405 that since we have the chance and we're so far to the north, Kevin, no, come towards us, Kevin. I want to show the 405 south. And I can tell you it looks like it pushed into the Sepulveda Pass there. The 405 freeway southbound is still open. Take sky map off and come down towards us. And you'll see the 405 southbound has not been closed at the 101 yet. That's about what we're over. And the 405 southbound has remained open. So maybe they changed their mind on that. Go back to the fire. You know, I would love to look at this, Leslie, and say they're making progress, but I don't see it. I mean, from this location, you know, maybe some progress as far as those homes that we saw, but I'm really concerned about those homes right now on Cassiano because I see more black smoke. And give me a wide shot, Kevin. I mean, that's just much more than 100 acres. I mean, I don't know. Maybe two. I'm not really good at guessing size, to be honest with you. But that is a huge loom up, and that gives you some perspective. You know, that's 405 and Wilshire Boulevard off to your left down there. That's the Sepulveda Pass. Getty Center is right there underneath that thick black smoke. I'm not sure that I would call it a lot of progress from what we saw from early this morning, except for the fact we're not seeing a lot of flames right up to the homes, but I'm not sure there's not a lot of flames right up to the homes underneath that smoke. Good shot. tankers? I have some. Yep. Philip. Some new information if you have me there, Philip. A couple interesting aspects if you guys have a moment. Yeah, we just got some new information, and you asked me this question. I gave you my best answer that I didn't think they would bring in the tankers. Well, guess what? I don't think they made much progress here, and they are bringing in 4 S2s. I can't remember or recall the last time they took tankers into a fire that was burning in this area. You know, they're going to bring them in, though. They're going to make FOS check drops, and that may be one of the reasons that air attack was so assistant that we get so far away. Another interesting aspect, this is just fascinating to me. The 405 southbound is wide open from the 118 down to the 101. And the Ventura Freeway eastbound out of Calabasas, which originally started to load up, is almost empty. There are no delays on the Ventura Freeway eastbound out of Woodland Hills until you get to about Balboa in Encino. That's lighter than normal. So here's what's happened. It's sort of like Carmageddon. Everybody knows this 405 is being shut down, or it may be completely. Everybody knows that getting to work is not going to happen, and so everybody is staying home. I really believe that's what's happening. It's fascinating to see a 405 wide open from the 118 down to the 101 on a work day. And to see the Ventura Freeway eastbound, which is usually jammed up out of Woodland Hills to the 405, moving well for the most part until you get into Encino. So it seems to me that's what's happened here. The word is out. The freeway's closed. It's a real good excuse not to drive at all. They have to use another route. They're going to be heavy, like you mentioned, on the Santa Monica Freeway. On the 1, PCH is an alternate. But folks have avoided the 405 of the Ventura Freeway right now in the San Fernando Valley. We'll do what we can, you know. Wow, that is a great drop right there. Yeah, going into Burbank because they're landing to the north. Yep, I can see it. This thing's taking off, man. Some of those homes to the left and push in, right in there. Push in there. Give me the Sky Map 7. What street is that? Okay, take it off since it's not working, please. Can you reset it? Almost as bad as aircraft. There's nothing you can do. JJ? I'm trying to get hold of JJ. Here's an issue. Maybe after my next hit, we need, if we're going to get Sky Map 7 back and working, it's not working right now. If we're going to get it back, then we need to stow the camera and reset the system. So maybe after my next hit, they can be aware that we're going to need about 2 or 3 minutes with our camera shut down to try and get Sky Map back working. Yeah, it'll be a while before they climb up here, but maybe we can do a hit and then we'll wait for that. How many sky cranes we got here? A couple, huh? What are those homes on the left?